From the weekend warriors to the renovation dreamers, Lowe's has you covered. We know you take pride in every project you take on. We share that pride, so we're celebrating with Craftsman Days. Tackle your yard with outdoor power equipment, fix that sink with hand tools and flashlights, and tinker under the hood with mechanics tool sets. Whatever your next project is, you'll find what you need during Craftsman Days. Shop online or in-store at Lowe's. Home to any budget, home to any possibility. While supplies last, U.S. only.
Get more out of summer with savings on appliances to simplify and streamline during the Home Depot's 4th of July savings in-store and online. Right now, you'll save a bundle on top appliances like the Visani Top Mount Refrigerator for just $3.99. Celebrate summer with a kitchen upgrade during 4th of July savings at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. U.S. only, while supplies last, free delivery on purchases of $396 or more. Valid through July 14th.
Kelly, that was on. Yeah, I think we got it. That was pretty close. And hey, it's us again. Now, Battle, before we start, I have 2 questions.
Yes?
First off, welcome back.
Thank you.
That's not a question.
No, it wasn't. The actual question, first one, since you're a Twitch streamer, how do you feel about the whole hot tub shit that's happening right now?
Oh yeah, the hot tub meta.
What's going on? Okay, everyone, I've been gone for a while because I have a baby now.
It's a baby daddy. Yeah, he a baby daddy.
So I don't know what's happening in Twitch right now. What do you mean?
So there's people who are streaming from hot tubs in their bathing suits to get around like terms of service, and like some people are like, "Hey, this is suggestive or sexual content" because they're in this, state of undress, and other people are like, "Nah, I'm just chatting with people from the hot tub."
Yeah, and then a bunch of dudes are mad because they're like, "Ooh, they're getting all this money for like doing nothing," but it's like, so there's a market for it.
If someone wants to be a titty streamer, be a fucking titty streamer. Like,
yeah, I'll go for fuck.
Go ahead.
There's an issue with that, like with people getting mad at, especially men getting mad at women for being titty streamers. That's okay. Like,
blame the market.
To shame them.
They getting paid for it. Like, hey, so someone obviously wants to buy it.
And the men getting
Absolutely.
mad are usually the men who are paying for it.
Yeah, so I don't really care. Let them fucking stream from there.
The real question is, are you going to start
Titty
hot
streaming.
tub streaming?
Yeah. You're going to see them sweater puppies?
Yes. Have you seen my pictures of me on Discord being a complete fool?
So you mean the taped
Yes.
taped up face picture?
Well, I'm always on Discord with my sister and cousins and stuff, watching stuff, and sometimes I mute myself and go crazy.
And a follow-up question, how's it feel to be a baby daddy?
It feels so awesome. My outlook on life has changed a lot. I'll say that much. And it's so cool, I think.
Does she still got that new baby smell?
Yeah, I think so.
Like-
She still smells like a baby.
Like your utero?
Yeah.
Milky.
It's yeah, milky. No, it's a really cool feeling, and I'm super lucky because going through the whole birthing process with Melinda, I realized that not everyone is able to have a baby.
Baby.
So
I am baby.
I'm very lucky. Like Melinda and I are very lucky to be able to conceive and have a baby. Like, and I'm super. Women are fucking awesome, by the way. Just
She's
throwing
checked
that out
that thing
there.
out.
Fucking women are so powerful. Watching her labor, I won't go in too much into it in detail, but like watching her labor has been like was awesome, and she's so powerful, and women are powerful even if women are not able to conceive. Like what women go through on a daily basis, I don't think they're given much credit. Women are just fucking ridiculously strong and super powerful. So thank you, all women.
But I had
everywhere.
Yeah.
birthing babies and whatnot. Shit ain't easy.
Dealing with
Bro-
men.
Shit ain't easy.
Shit ain't
Right?
easy.
And welcome to Bros and Murder, where we talk about titty streaming and babies. I am Andre.
I'm Zaddy, literally.
I am Kelly.
I'm Robert.
And this is The Crew. We bring you true crime cases of color, we play you music, and we just have a grand old time together. So now this episode is all about children, coincidentally, and different aspects that in a true crime world that affects children. I have a pretty heinous case that recently happened. I know Robert got some ish he wants to spill.
I do.
Tea.
Little soapbox.
Yeah, some little soapbox. So I think I went first the last couple of times. So Kelly, do you want to take it away?
Sure.
I'm going to put you on the spot, but you survive.
Maybe. We'll see.
Open your eyes, what can you see around? Wind of the open sky, over the siren sound. This is a dream, getting the royal scar, holding a diamond blade, throwing it far.
My case is about Issa Degree, who went missing at 9 years old on Valentine's Day in 2000, the year 2000. Issa had a pretty, good home life. She's from North Carolina. And on Valentine's Day, her family woke up and she was not in her bed. And which also happened to be her parents' wedding anniversary. So the series of events was that the day before she had a basketball game and her team lost and she took it very hard. When she got home, she took a nap for for an hour or so and then got up to join her family. And then they watched a movie and everything seemed fine. Around 2:30 in the morning, her father checked in on her and her brother who shared a bedroom before going to bed himself, not seeing anything out of the ordinary. At some point in the night, Issa got up and went to the restroom and then came back, and her brother heard her and was kind of roused awake, but figured she was just, going back to bed and maybe moving around a little bit, so he just went back to sleep. She was not discovered missing until her mother, Aquila, came in at 6:30 the next morning to wake up her children. So the series of events is that it seems that she left on her own accord sometime during the night. There are a few different reasons why people think that she left. Either because she was so upset because she was very, kind of type A and took the loss of the basketball game really hard.
Like it's all on herself?
Yes. Yeah, put a lot of pressure on herself. They did say that, it seemed that once she realized, that night, that no one was mad at her, none of her teammates were mad at her, that she kind of calmed down. But they did say, she was upset because she had fouled out and they lost the game by a point. So she might have been putting all of that on herself. She ended up packing a little backpack full of, just a couple things like candy and things like that before she left, and she was spotted 2 separate times around 4 a.m. walking along the highway. So once by a long-haul trucker who actually pulled over to check on her to see if she was okay. He had to, kind of go down the highway and turn around to stop to get to her. And he thought it was really strange because when he got out of the car or the vehicle to call to her, she ran off away from him. because, you know, he would have thought that, like, if something was wrong, she would have come to get help.
And said something.
Yeah. But yeah, she ran off into the woods, and then I guess he just kind of kept going. And he didn't report anything until he saw on, like, TV that she had been missing. Another motorist, his son, they drove by, and it was kind of a similar thing where, like, she just kind of ran off into the forest again, and they reported it the next morning. And I
guess they probably didn't think anything of it until, like, after the fact, you know?
Yeah, well, but at the same time, I think both of them were alert, like
something's weird.
Alarmed,
Right.
because how many, like, you never see, like, a little kid on the side of the highway in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And she was wearing
Well, and the
all
fact
white,
that you stopped, like, it was weird enough for you to stop, but it wasn't weird enough for you to, like, hit up the authorities.
Yeah. Oh, and it was raining that night, which makes it even more strange. And, like,
Yeah, so if she obviously needed help, she probably would have gotten in a car. So it seemed like she was
exactly
going somewhere, like she was on a mission.
Yeah, police did, like, when they got those calls, though, they were, like, kind of, you know, it helped the case along. They were excited to see if, like, they could find out what happened, and they had a traffic stop right around where both motorists had reported seeing her. So, which that ended up being interesting, because due to that, they had investigated a property that was very close to where she was spotted on the highway, and the family that owned the property had submitted to the police, like, these items that they had found near like a shed or something like that. So it was like,
What kind of backpack did you have?
hair ribbon, a pencil, and a pen. And the ribbon was confirmed by her parents to be hers. And it was kind of
What
lucky.
kind of backpack did she have?
I don't know. I would just imagine just, you know, like a child's JanSport or something like that.
I used to have a bunch of
I've heard about this case over here.
Really? Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's in your area, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so all of that was found out, like, within the week. I think they found the items, like, on Thursday. Like, Thursday after it happened, because the day she went missing was Monday, Valentine's Day. Then the next big kind of clue that they got was about a year later, on August 3rd, 2001. They did find her backpack, but it was about an hour north of where she went missing. And it ended up having a few items in it that didn't actually belong to her. So it was her backpack.
Wait, and so was that also like an hour away from, like, the property where they found, like, the pencil
Yes.
and the ribbon and stuff?
Yeah, which is, yeah, that's where she kind of, or not
The area.
went missing, but where she was last sighted. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, they found there was a New Kids on the Block t-shirt and a Dr. Seuss book called McElligot's Pool. And while the book wasn't hers, it was from the library at her elementary school. So it's just, like, a bunch of really strange, like, clues together that don't really make sense. Especially considering it was found so far away, and it was found in kind of like a wooded area where they were making an access road, where they were doing construction.
I'm surprised they didn't find any, like, tracks or anything. It was raining too.
Yeah.
So I would assume there would be, like, some kind of trail to follow.
Well, I would
Unless
always,
someone covered her steps up.
yeah, I would almost think that maybe that, like, because it was raining, they would be less likely to have, like, if it's really grassy and things, you know?
Oh, you're right. I was thinking of mud.
Yeah. So, so obviously it's been 21 years since she went missing. They did have a little bit of an update in 2015 where someone said that they possibly saw her getting into a green car around the time of her disappearance. It was like a 70s car, either a Ford Thunderbird or a Lincoln Mark IV. And around that same time, the FBI, as well as I think a local organization, put up $45,000 as a reward if anyone had any new information. And I saw there was a video interview with her parents from last year, the 20-year anniversary of her disappearance, where they're just, if people had any kind of information, she's like, the mother said that even though at this point she's 30 years old, she just wants to, like, she is sad that she has missed her child's like growing up, but that she would give anything to just be able to see her daughter again. As well, if anybody has any information on Aisha's case, the FBI has a number that you can call. It's 704-672-6100, or the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office you can call at 704-484-4822.
And we'll put those in the show notes too. I think there's like, don't they have like a walk every year? Right? Like something like that.
I'm not sure. I didn't see.
I know they do. Like, I know the family does something yearly, and like they had to change it around, like the dates, but they will always like a walk or like a run, or something like that.
They were doing one, yeah, but they did change. They changed it from Valentine's Day just because they didn't want to have. A
lot happens on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I don't know if they still do it now.
And with that, I want to say, while I don't have a case today, everyone, sorry, I did have some like information on stuff. And when it comes to missing persons of color, there's less likely in the U.S. there's less likely that there's going to be a solved case compared to cases involving people who are white. And that's just something to think about. And additionally, according to the Patriot Ledger, the number of missing people of color is disproportionately higher, and their stories are often underrepresented in national conversations and mainstream media. And that is something that we at Bros Murder that want to change, like talk about these cases, and really dive into them to bring attention to what's happening to people of color, and especially children of color and women of color, because it's not talked about often. Mm-hmm. So just keep that in mind, that there's disproportionately higher cases of color that don't get covered, especially when it comes to missing people.
There's the whole less dead aspect. It doesn't matter what age you are either.
Yeah, actually, when I was looking up the little girl who, it was from a while ago. I think we did just an Instagram post about it. But the little girl Heather who went missing from my hometown. When I was looking through that, there were statistics that say like just black children make up a third of all missing children in the U.S.
And not only that, another thing you want to think about too, the way that black children are treated when they go missing is appalling. A lot of times they're classified as runaways versus actually missing. Yeah. And 100%. Whereas like white children, when they go missing, it's everyone goes out to look for them. That includes law enforcement, whereas like when black children go missing, it's usually the black community that go out and try to look for these children, and they're not treated or
the same like severity.
They're treated as like missing. They're running away. Like these children are running away because they're trying to run away from the problems, and that goes into a whole other idea that, you know, black children are 4 times as likely than white children to live in poverty in the United States relative to white children. Yeah. So I think people sometimes play on that or prey on the idea that when black children go missing, they're running from something because they have something going on, and that's not the case sometimes.
And you have cases like Aisha, who had a great house, like great family,
absolutely,
a lot going for her.
That's great. Yeah, I think that's the part of the case that like always feels so strange and like so sad, is like in the beginning when you kind of are framing, you know, this is what they were doing the night before, of like they just had a rough like basketball game and they're watching a movie with their family. Like all those little things, those humanizing things make it so much sadder.
Yeah.
My case doesn't get any better because the case I'm bringing is about Jennifer Yost, who she basically is like the evil stepmother in a Disney movie, but like times 10. So now, My case is about a incident that happened. Well, ended March of this year after a woman saw a young boy running up and down her street, and she obviously thought that he needed help. She said that she was used to seeing kids run around playing, but this boy looked like he was in distress. She stopped him and said, "Hey, buddy, do you need help?" And he did. And what came after that was the unfurling of a 3-year-long torture home involving a bunch of underage kids and then 3 shitty adults. So now, in Moundsville, PA, criminal charges were recently filed against Todd Richard, who's 32, and the dad of the situation. Jennifer Yost, 27, the stepmother, who did a lot more. Like, her crimes toward the kids were a lot more intense than the father and then their asshole grandmother. That's why I'm kind of centering on her, because she did some fucked up shit. And this long period of just torturing these kids lasted between 2019 to 2021. So it was a 3-year long event. So now, after the woman saw this kid running back and forth, then she's talking to him. She noticed that he had a bunch of bruises on his body, he looked malnourished, he was skinny. So she called the police. The police got there, got to him, got to the house, and, saw everything that happened. So now the children affected, I'm going to call them JR, who's a 9-year-old girl, DR, 11-year-old boy, BR, who's a 12-year-old boy, the one that got the police to come to the house after he ran away, and SR, who's a 3-year-old girl, but she wasn't the victim. She wasn't victimized, I'm assuming because she was, the youngest, so they knew they really couldn't, beat her that severely like the other ones. So now, BR was a kid that escaped, and after running down the street and alerting personnel, police came to him. And they also noted when they first saw him that he looks like a victim of abuse. They noted all of his bruises, scratches, his exposed ribs, everything on the spot. After getting all the information they needed, the police went and responded to the home, where Wendy, the grandmother, and Jennifer, the stepmom, were the only ones there, while the father, Todd, was out at work or something. So now police started searching the home, and after some time, they finally made their way up to the attic, because the initial home downstairs, everything seemed normal. So it seemed like this kid's claims of living in this basically dungeon were kind of made up, till they got up to the attic. Now the police noted as soon as they walked upstairs, there was a strong smell of urine. They just smelled piss all upstairs. Further investigation led them to finding, they got to the attic, pulled it down, went up there, and there were clear plastic peanut butter jars, which looked to be filled with urine. There was also a 5-gallon bucket that had liquid feces in it. So the kids were going to the bathroom and these things that weren't let down. And after seeing this, the kids were immediately removed from the house and everyone was placed under arrest. Now, the local police chief who was there on the scene said that he has never seen anything like this before, that in their town they had cases of child abuse, neglect, sexual exploitation, but by far this had been the worst thing he's ever seen. So now, BR told medical personnel that his stepmom and dad and his grandmom would often beat him with their hands, belts, and even mallets. Big hammers. He said that anything would trigger an attack. During one of the interviews, he said that the 3 children were abused, starved, and often just tortured for no reason whatsoever. BR said that his dad would always threaten to kill him. After a beating, he would just threaten that he would murder him. He said that he would hit him with a wooden spatula, tree branches, a belt, and just any object that was in arm's reach. He said that he had been thrown downstairs and also scratched by their grandmother's cat for just aggravating it. He said that Wendy would often strangle him and hit him with a mallet too. That was one of the things she would just, that was her go-to. He said that Richard placed pliers on the membrane under his tongue. So that little split you have under your tongue, he would grip that with pliers and hold it there. And the kid said that he often couldn't breathe when he did that to him. He said that Jennifer would also stand on him and choke him. And when he would like fight back and resist because he's being choked, she would tell him that she didn't care if she killed him because she would just hide his body anyway. BR said that they were also, like, when they were upstairs in the attic, because they weren't really allowed to leave at all, that they would use the peanut butter jars to collect drinking water in from the gutter and also to, like, urinate in when they had to pee. So the same jar they were using to collect gutter water was also their bathroom. He said that when they were allowed to eat food, they would only get leftover food that the other family, like their scraps, whatever they didn't finish or had laying around, they would throw that to them. They said the food was often moldy or old too.
What did the system do for these kids?
After the fact, or
Yeah. Or like during, like, did anyone ever come to the defense of these children while they were there?
no? So for these 3 years, no one knew what was going on. No one's seen the kids. Like there was no, like, they weren't going to school or anything like that. So no one did shit basically for these kids. Like the kids would just stop showing up outside one day and no one really took notice. But that also could be in part to the family just like slowly isolating them. Because I read in situations like this, when it comes to like parents who torture kids, they often like slowly like exclude them from the outside world. So if they do finally just go missing, no one really notices that much, you know?
Yeah, that tends to be a theme with abusive partners as well.
Slow isolation. Okay, so the kids were also not allowed to brush their teeth, and Jennifer Yost would often duct tape their arms behind their backs. She would duct their legs together and then place them in a cold water bath. Like she'll fill the bathtub up with cold water, duct tape them, place them in there for long periods of time, and then sometimes would hold their heads underwater just to do it with no rhyme or reason behind it.
And there was 3 people involved with it, though.
3 adults, yes.
3 adults,
Yeah, but it's just, from all the kids' account, Jennifer was doing the most like fucked up shit, like holding their kids' head underwater when he's duct tape. That's some sinister shit. Now, DR, which is one of the youngest boys, was the only one allowed to leave the attic. BR and JR were permitted to go downstairs for food leftovers only, and when they would go down there, when they were allowed to, they were just succumb to beatings and abuse. So they often didn't go downstairs unless they were like really starving for food. BR also said that Jennifer hit him with a mallet and would hit him and the sister on the hands with plastic bats. JR, this is the little girl, said that Wendy hit her with a metal object, and Wendy's the grandma, by the way, hit her with a metal object, and Jennifer would punch her and her brother in the face and arms. So now after all this came out, all 3 adults were arrested and charged with a just rap sheet of the charges, thankfully. Like, they're throwing a book at these people. And yeah, they're also denied bail. So at the time of recording, they are going to the preliminary hearing next Monday. So I plan on following this because
Current.
What happened to these children? Like, where did they get placed with family?
no, not family. They're in this system in protective custody. So they're with like
foster
emergency,
care?
yeah, like emergency foster care. It's shit. And on that note, let's take a break.
And now, a short commercial break.
Pretend you're squeezing Hardee's made from scratch biscuit.
With crispy chicken.
You drooling yet?
Yeah, it's a mess.
The new hand-breaded chicken biscuit at Hardee's.
Feed your happy. Available during regular breakfast hours only at participating Hardee's restaurants. Price of participation may vary.
Get 30% shorter average wait time. When you buy and book your appointment at DiscountTire.com, you can get 30% shorter average wait time in the store. Discount Tire. Let's get you taken care of.
All right, Robert, we're back, and I have your soapbox ready for you.
Sweet. So,
Go off, King.
do any of you remember in our youth there was an organization called Truth or Truth Initiative?
With smoking?
Yes, with smoking.
Yeah.
I do remember.
Okay. So, Truth has been around for quite a while now, and we actually got very, very, very close to having like a tobacco or nicotine-free generation, but that was all destroyed by the e-cigarette.
Fucking Juul pods. I remember exactly when Juul pods hit high school. Man.
So first, to kind of frame it from like a perspective of people of color, CDC reports that so this is a period of 2014 to 2017, the largest group of youths, which is in this study, I believe, under the age of 18, that used tobacco products the most were Native Hawaiians, Pacific Islanders, which made up 23.4%, American Indians and Alaskan Natives coming in second, and then followed by multiracial persons. So it's an issue that these companies, specifically Juul you brought up, is marketing all of these at children because that was a demographic that they were losing. They had no risk of losing the 30-year-old smoker who's been smoking cigarettes forever.
Did he make cigarettes cool?
Well, so there's also some information about children who see it portrayed in TV shows or media are 3 times more likely to start themselves. So any TV show that has a character vaping in it is directly responsible for an increased rate of tobacco and nicotine use in children. And over 30% of those children being people of color. And so over the past 2 years, the use of cigarettes has decreased in youths, but the rate that they use e-cigarettes has not decreased at all, which is a troubling statistic because those who start using e-cigarettes are much more likely to switch to a regular or traditional tobacco product in the future. So, it's this, we talk about the, school to prison pipeline, very similar. We're going e-cigarettes and pushing children, because that's what they are at this point. They're not old enough to buy nicotine, but somehow they're plaguing all of our high schools and pushing them into cigarettes. In fact, they are starting to make nicotine-free chewing pouches. There's a brand called Zyn, Z-Y-N. It's like chaw, or like a little pouch you would chew tobacco with, but it doesn't contain tobacco. It's just a nicotine pouch.
They do have, so for a while, they have coffee tins like that, where they have coffee grinds in a little pouch, and you just put it in your lip like it's chew. I used to do that on deployment because, I just never had time to drink coffee. So I would just, had the little coffee dip right in my lip, and it's
crazy to me, too, just because with the vaping, I've seen so much where it's characterized as something to get people off of smoking, off of tobacco products.
Yeah.
So the idea that that kids are starting out with vaping and moving to cigarettes, kind of blows my
But there's
mind.
also it gets lower than that because they also have the non, like you said, the non-nicotine one. So they have the I forget what the brand's called, but it's mist oil in it, like water oil. It's lavender
essential oils.
Yeah. You just suck on this and you relax, and it's and then you're gonna start smoking.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a good point to bring up with when it comes to vaping as a way to stop using cigarettes. Sure, that's awesome for adults who can make that decision, but it's an industry that I believe has created this product because of a vanishing market that they had. And obviously it goes without saying, but people who then begin to start smoking cigarettes are at a much higher rates for cancer, heart attack, mouth disease, all things that disproportionately affect people of color. So and something that should be pointed out was that the lowest 2 groups of demographically speaking in the 2014 to 2017 study were black children or youths at 11.5% and then Asians at 5%, which are still significant percentages.
Yeah.
If we're looking at percent of the population, 11% of our youth are not black, but 11% of youths who smoke or use tobacco products are.
Yeah, it's all about the proportions, boy.
Yeah, and when we're talking about wellness and health, mental and physical, dependencies on products like this kind of set you up for a long road of either trying to get off of it or just leaning into it and damaging your health in the long term. But I brought up Truth originally because the Truth Initiative actually is still around. They're still making commercials and marketing on TikTok and stuff.
Oh no, they're on TikTok.
I've seen a little bit of their stuff. It's not as cringy as you'd expect. Like, whatever marketing team they have, I think is filled with youthful people who like get it. Because they're very much a company who's trying to speak to the youth in their own language.
Yeah.
Which I think is really commendable. So truthinitiative.org is awesome if you get a chance and you want some statistics, because obviously vaping, nicotine is not good for your body.
Truth is like really dope too, because they do a lot of studies where they talk about things like targeted communities, and they talk about racial and ethnic minorities, and like how tobacco industries profile and how they strategically put stuff in racial
certain
and
genre
communities, and they've been doing that forever.
Like look at rap and Newport cigarettes.
Yeah. Absolutely, menthol. The whole idea, like it's a huge joke, like on the internet about banning menthol cigarettes. But if you look at how menthol cigarettes are made, they're not crazy expensive. I mean, I guess cigarettes are expensive now relative to what they were 10 years ago. But those cigarettes are easier to smoke, and if they're easier to smoke, and they put these advertisements in communities of color versus like white communities, because when I talk about communities of color, I talk about every person that is not white. But when they are targeting, or when they put advertisements in these areas, and it's something that's easy to smoke or easy to get, it's easier for these companies to make money off of people that don't have money.
Yeah.
So, and nicotine, it creates a high, and it makes you feel good while you're smoking. Obviously, there's an addiction to it. People are addicted to the feeling of what nicotine can do for you, what tobacco products can do.
Well, that's also, there's two things I think that are also kit and caboodle with kind of what you're saying. I know with tobacco products in general, they outlawed, especially when vaping became such a big craze, flavored things.
Flavors, yes.
Because it appealed to children, with the exception of menthol products. And I think that was very intentional. Yeah. As well as nicotine is not naturally occurring in tobacco products. They have to add it to make it addictive. So.
So one quick little statistic for you. Nearly 9 out of 10 adults who smoke cigarettes daily first try smoking by age 18, and 99% first try smoking by age 26. So, after you get past 26, I guess you're fine at that point, just to experiment with cigarettes. But the CDC does say youth's use of tobacco products in any form is unsafe. Your brain is still developing. This is a powerful chemical. You can get very sick from nicotine, and it will affect your brain development, 100%. We're also talking about the use of cigars or cigarillos. I know probably a dozen people off the top of my head who grew up, didn't smoke cigarettes, but would use swishers.
Or black them out.
Yeah.
Blunt wraps and things like that. Those are tobacco products. And I think people don't often realize that, they're forming a dependency on tobacco by, ingesting marijuana or whatever it is through those means.
What you used to do is you get your black out, you empty it out, you pack it again, but you gotta mix it with the black out so no one can really smell it like that. That's high school thinking for you.
That and hookah has become more popular between 2011 and 2020. There has been a dramatic increase in youths using hookah.
I remember that's what we used to do in high school.
Same.
Because you can buy a hookah in these head shop anywhere for $10.
Smoke in someone's garage. I remember it being really big in 2008, 2009.
Yeah. The one glimmer of hope we do have, though, is that there has been a huge section of time that many of these youths who use tobacco products were unable to get tobacco products because of the pandemic. because so many of their informal ways of acquiring this was either through someone older that they knew that they saw at school, or they could, go to the local gas station who wasn't IDing or whatever it is. So you hopefully have a good section of people who really wanted to quit, finally were forced to quit, and now
they're done.
Will not go back, but we'll see.
But hey, good episode. Battle's back.
Yeah.
Daddy's here. And I know we talk about a lot of organizations, but I want to do this thing. I said the last episode where at the end we highlight like an organization that fits the theme of the show. And the one that I found that I wanted to highlight was the JLC, the Juvenile Law Center. Now, the JLC advocates for rights, dignity, equality, and opportunities for youths in the child welfare and justice system. They touch on youth justice, children in prison, foster care, and youth advocacy. All things that we've hit on in this episode. What a coinky dink.
A crazy thing, too, when you think about prosecution.
Wait, 1 second.
Okay.
So if you want to go help out, check out jlc.org and just see what they're about. They're cool as shit. Go ahead, now.
What I was going to say is, crazy thing is when it comes about the prosecution of children and children in like the justice system, it's so fucking crazy that there are about a dozen states that still have no minimum age for adult prosecution, which means that children can get charged as adults for crimes that they commit, and children get imprisoned with adults. And going to different organizations, like Andre mentioned, helps combat things like prosecuting children as adults, because children's brains are still developing, and I fucking hate people say,
your shit ain't done until you're 25,
kids.
bro.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And
well, if we can recognize your brain isn't advanced enough to, drive a car, how can we say you can rationally commit a crime? Ridiculous.
Yeah. It's crazy. We need to protect like our future and our children, and stop saying, if we just teach our kids how to do things and not overreact. It's like, okay, yeah, we can teach them. However, because children are still developing at young ages, because they're children, means like it takes a little bit more than just saying, yeah, just teach them not to do that. And it's like, no, it's teaching, it's coaching, and it's talking with them. It's mentorship. It's a lot. Absolutely.
Well, and it takes a village.
Absolutely, yes.
All your teachers and coaches and neighbors, and it should not just be your parents parenting you.
Right, like I said, great episode. The gang's all back together. We got a hot, spooky summer coming up. We're going to be going crazy, hitting at you with some shit. And enjoy the music. It's from my album called Balls.
Your album?
No, I was joking. Alright, bye.
See ya, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
From the weekend warriors to the renovation dreamers, Lowe's has you covered. We know you take pride in every project you take on. We share that pride, so we're celebrating with Craftsman Days. Tackle your yard with outdoor power equipment, fix that sink with hand tools and flashlights, and tinker under the hood with mechanics tool sets. Whatever your next project is, you'll find what you need during Craftsman Days. Shop online or in-store at Lowe's. Home to any budget, home to any possibility. While supplies last, U.S. only.
Get more out of summer with savings on appliances to simplify and streamline during the Home Depot's 4th of July savings in-store and online. Right now, you'll save a bundle on top appliances like this Samsung laundry pair. Celebrate summer with a laundry upgrade during 4th of July savings at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. U.S. only, while supplies last. Free delivery on purchases of $396 or more. Valid through July 14th.